let me just tell you, I am feeling myself.
You look pretty good.
In the mirror, I had to take a video.
Yes.
I did. It was like,
I'm so glad you like it.
This is my.
That makes me
I might
happy.
just wear this every day.
Yes, I think you should.
I might just wear this every day.
I think between our two like eccentric outfits and then all your decor, like having clothing just like around would have been too much.
It does kind of
I appreciate
overcrowd
the
it a little.
idea to like promote, but
Yeah.
this is loud enough.
Yeah, this is. You're right. You're right. We're shouting here. Man, okay. Well, we're here at the Watermelon Room with the Respecting Perspectives podcast. And I have a young lady who has been very inspiring as of recently and just flourishing with ideas and concepts, and her backing with spirituality, which we'll get into, has been guiding.
Yeah?
Yeah, it really has. It really has. So I'm super grateful to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell the people who you are a little bit? Give them a little bit of history and kind of the brand itself, and you can build this. We can build this however we want.
Okay. Well, most people around Baltimore know me as Pinki.
Mm-hmm.
My birth name is Catherine Linnea. I grew up as Katie. Never loved the name though, because I was one of like 6 Katies in the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
And I wanted to be special. I wanted
Come
to be,
on.
unique and different.
For sure.
My best friend, she was a Katie.
Okay.
And because my middle name was Linnea, I got Katie Lynn. Oh, that was so country. I
It does
that
have a
name.
country ringtone to it.
And my wonderful parents, who allowed me and my brother to express ourselves in a multitude of ways. 12 years old, cut off my hair about your length.
Oh, shit.
And dyed it pink.
Really?
Yeah, and when I moved to Frederick, adopted the name Pinki.
There you go.
So all
You
the
can
pink
rock
hair.
that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! Let me tell you something. You can rock anything, but I think that is perfect for your kind of the vibe that you give off.
Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
that's where Pinki came from. But in terms of Lighter Fluid Designs, which is my brand that I'm building, clothing and lifestyle brand, Lighter Fluid Designs. Lighter Fluid, the reason I chose that name is because I want to light people's fire. I want to design products that inspire people to express some part of themselves that they may not otherwise. There's nothing I love more than playing dress up. So I totally vision having a store that has all this eclectic, wild stuff, jewelry, clothing, and people coming in and just being like amazed. If it's not immediately their thing where they're like, yes, this is my store.
Right.
They're just like, what is this place? And I just get them to put stuff on
There you go.
and just like try it and like look at themselves in the mirror and just like
beautiful.
help them see a whole other side of themselves.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. It's so cool to see that. I have a little story.
Tell me.
When I was younger, and probably like a few years ago, I'd be ashamed to say this, but now I'm an open book. And when I was maybe like 4 years old to like 7, I had a lot of girl cousins, and there's VHS tapes of this somewhere, okay, on my Uncle Blaze's wall somewhere, of them dressing me up.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not even ashamed to say it now.
You shouldn't be.
That was good times. You know what I mean? Like, that was just like, who cared? You didn't care what you looked like. You didn't care, the energy that you were giving off. You were just unapologetically you,
Yeah, just try new stuff.
Yeah, and gosh, it was so funny because I haven't thought about that in a while, so it's funny to think about that. And shout out the cousins. We got Colleen, Eileen, and Chrissy, and man, they just, we were just, having fun. The last podcast with Wyatt, we were talking about, just things as a kid that we kind of missed, and we talked about like summer camps and things like that. Is there anything from your childhood that like either you like really miss, or like times in your head that you like to really revisit?
I love designing my Halloween costume with my mom every year. That's one thing that comes off to the top of my head.
Yeah. What was your favorite of all the costumes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. My favorite of all the costumes. I don't know about my favorite. One of the coolest ones is I wanted to be a bat.
Okay, different.
So my mom made me like these legit wings. Like the whole thing was from scratch. Every costume was always from scratch. Like November 1st, the day after Halloween, I am planning 365 days in advance for my costume the next year. So she made me these wings out of like coat hangers. Which surprisingly are not easy to unbend at all. And she unbent them and hooked them all together, and this miraculous thing happened because we weren't expecting this. So she made these like what would have been life-size proportional wings if I was actually a bat. And she put these loops at the corners of the wings so that I could hold them and actually like flap them.
Oh, wow.
But when I took my hands out and just like let the wings go, they folded behind me perfectly. And when I would walk, they would bounce as if they were flapping. It was really cool.
Oh my goodness.
So that's just like the one that comes to my mind right now. But I was so many things. And she, whatever we wanted to be, she was like, all right, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work.
What's one quality that you really appreciate and love in your mom?
Definitely her ingenuity. Her ability to like solve problems, you know, in the context of costume making, right? It's like, okay, here's this ridiculous idea. Life giant-sized bat wings, you know, and she just has a mind. She's like a MacGyver, you know. She can just like, she can like totally just figure something out. She can see the mechanics of things, or like what would be a great material to like make this thing happen. She's really good at helping people with like practical problems. Like she really wanted to work with kids with disabilities who like maybe buttons were too hard for them, you know, and just like find ways to like make their lives easier. So, but yeah, she's just super, and I get that from her. And I really appreciate that she always encouraged me to like be expressive and be weird and like, and make stuff, you know. She taught me how to sew, and that's certainly, you know, the heart of, you know, where this all comes from. So
yeah, gosh, let me tell you, I'm feeling myself today. I really am.
I'm feeling you. You look good.
I'm feeling you too. Gosh, and these are some pieces that Pinki has for sale, and she's been out here vending at festivals and all these different things. How long has lighter fluid been a thing?
So I would say I probably decided to get serious about it at the end of 22. So I guess that really kind of only means like 2 years. It was just as I was graduating college, which I went to late. So I was like, end of 22, I was 32. And I decided that this is really what makes me happy and what I want to do. So I've only been doing it for 2 years. Okay.
The thought behind it, though, so lighter fluid, you dug a little bit into it, but what if you could kind of, you know, where does the name itself come from, and what does it mean to you?
Lighter fluid. So definitely I want to provide like the fuel to like encourage people to express themselves, to connect with their authentic selves. My logo, which is on the back of your shirt, is
we'll show it
somewhere up here too.
There we go.
It's a triangle, which is the elemental symbol for fire. There's a flame on the inside, and that to me, I actually love talking to people about my logo because I love asking other people what they see in it, and I've heard so many beautiful things, and my own meaning has like evolved over time. But so there's this flame in the middle that could symbolize like everybody's individuality and their flame or their own soul, you know, their uniqueness, their specialness. And then around the logo is a series of graduated dots. There's like 3 large ones, and the other ones are kind of smaller. And for me, that almost symbolizes like the different versions of ourselves that we are throughout our lives. So you could say for most people, maybe there's 3 different versions of themselves. Okay. You know, that can vary. And then there's these other kind of transitional selves between those pivotal, you know, people that we are, you know, and there can be things that happen in our life that make that change, you know, that cause us to become different people, for better or for worse, you know?
Right.
But I've always kind of seen my life as an evolution, and I want it to be an evolution. I want to be growing, you know, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially. That's something that's always motivated me and been so fascinating to me.
I can tell.
Yeah. So that's kind of the namesake, I feel like, of lighter fluid.
If you could tell me, so you taught me a few things in that. First off was that the elemental symbol for fire is a triangle.
Yeah, the upward facing triangle.
Upward facing triangle. And then you said that most people have three you know, parts of themselves. What would you say the three pillars in your life are?
I think I meant like more versions of themselves, but yeah, you could totally see it that way, like pillars of who you are, right?
Yeah.
So those dots could resemble like pillars, just foundational like character traits or anything, or aspects, right? So maybe you could say your emotional self, your physical self, your spiritual self. You could say like, for me, maybe some of the foundational things for me, honesty and authenticity, like that, it goes hand in hand to me. Like how somebody said to me recently, I wish I could remember where the quote came from.
Okay.
But it was like, said the hardest thing we will do in our lives is become ourselves. Yeah. And how much of a battle and journey it can be to just be who you really are.
Right?
So,
with so many influences.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Around
with
us.
The world trying to put us in a box all the time, put us in conflicting boxes, right? Like be this, but be that. And those things aren't the same. And somehow you're supposed to try to be both. And you're supposed to be all these things. But who are you? What do you want out of life? What makes you joyful? You know, where do you source your strength? So yeah, I would say of those pillars, right? I would definitely say honesty and authenticity is something that's really important to me. I might have to think harder about the other ones.
Yeah, I know. It's a good thought, right? I think everybody else at home should be thinking about, right? Like how to authentically be yourself, you know, and you're going to take influences in and you're going to, you know, be seeing all these different worlds that are around you, but like how can you create the strength to, you know, be yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and it's wild. And, you know, I think one of the pillars that you originally mentioned was spirituality.
For sure.
Yeah, tell the people out in the world here kind of what spirituality means to you and
boy.
Where it's come from.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in a spiritual community for sure. It was called Unity, which is considered a church. Oddly enough, at the time I went, so I went from the time I was probably like, I don't know, 7 until I graduated high school. For whatever reason, at my church, so my chapter, they're all over the country, maybe even over the world, I don't know.
Okay.
For whatever reason, at my chapter in Gaithersburg at that time, they never really talked about Jesus. Didn't really talk about scripture.
Huh.
So I didn't learn much about Jesus. The way my mom phrased it is she said she felt our church was more concerned about the teachings of Jesus, like what he wanted us to know, how he wanted us to be. They were more concerned about that than they were about teaching about Jesus, like who Jesus was.
Right.
So I didn't really get that foundational understanding, but I loved my church. I didn't want to miss any Sunday.
That's awesome.
High school was like going to group therapy.
Yeah.
You know, we would go, it would be a room full of teenagers. Like, I don't know, it could be anywhere from like 5 of us to like 15 or 20 of us any given Sunday. And we had some adults in the room that were called our sponsors, and like they might have some theme or topic for us to discuss, but we wouldn't even always get to that. We would always start the hour by like everybody sharing their highs and lows for the week. So it was an opportunity to talk about, like, to celebrate with each other.
Yeah.
People that you had this like spiritual connection with, an opportunity to celebrate, and an opportunity to like share your suffering and sometimes get like help and support through that. So I feel like I grew up through those really difficult middle school, high school years with this spiritual community always loving me and always supporting me no matter what I was going through, no matter what boy problem, I had to share that week. So,
right. To think about that is interesting, right? Like the challenges that you had when you were a kid. And I think you had mentioned something about being young, though, and like realizing kind of like what meditation was, right? Dig a little bit into that and what meditation has meant to you and your ability to have been blessed with learning it at such a young age.
For sure. Something we talked about a few weeks ago on that phone call was about how psychedelics can really like open people's mind to this idea of God, right? What is God and how does that show up in your life? And how psychedelics can be such a like transformational moment for people spiritually. And for me, like, I just got that from when I was young, from that church, because we were taught that God is all good and ever present everywhere, that God is in everything and God is in everyone. And so I kind of grew up with this true belief that life is beautiful.
High five.
Right. Now, I also had, I can recognize that I had a privileged upbringing in many respects, I didn't have, an abusive home, so there are things about my life that made it easy to believe that. But yeah, so some of the things that we learned early on, like middle school, maybe even earlier, was like how to meditate.
Wow.
How to sit and how to try to converse with God and how to try to quiet your mind and listen for God's voice, or guided meditations for some objective. Actually, when I was like in elementary school, they had people from other faiths. Like I remember a Buddhist monk coming to our church to like teach us about their faith. They were super into like tolerance and inclusivity and it's all God, man. Like, let's just get along, and through that teaching, through that education, I learned also a lot about like the power of positive thinking and prayer. And, we had these retreats in middle school and in high school, and we would sing all our little, kumbaya songs. And there was this one song that the lyrics are, "Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying."
Say it again. Say that. Say it.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what they're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there, and every thought becomes a prayer. So I grew up
drop
like...
the mic right now, because that is beautiful.
Thanks to unity, thanks to God. Yeah, it's like... So when you absorb those things as a kid and you like believe them and you just take them in, you're like... my words have power. My thoughts have power, right? So if I'm speaking negatively about myself, if I'm speaking negatively about my teacher or my friends or my circumstances, like it's just going to exacerbate that. Yeah. It could just create more of that. Right. So I think from a young age, I was kind of trained to have positive outlook, positive thoughts, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. I really, really am. But I do feel like in some ways I was limited. Later in life, as I started encountering some really difficult things, I was self-aware enough in my early 20s to know that I had a privileged upbringing. And there was some part of my heart that was like, God, I want to know what the meaning of hard work is. Not that I hadn't worked hard, not that we didn't have struggles in my family. Of course. But I knew that I was blessed. And, because I believe that our thoughts are prayers, it's like one of those things. It's like, careful what you wish for. You're like, I don't want to pray for this, but the thought's there and I can't undo it. And it's always there. And so I started encountering some challenges in my 20s, in my last relationship, and then in this relationship. And I'm happily married now. But this marriage the relationship has not been without its challenges.
Of course, there's been every relationship is.
Yeah. And some of the challenges that I dealt with were so, so difficult that my spiritual foundation gave me a sense of responsibility and control that I didn't necessarily have, right? So when your life is going good and you're like manifesting all these like great things into your life, like you feel amazing.
Yeah.
But when difficult things come up that you don't have control over, I got really depressed. And I was like, why is this happening? Why can't I positive think my way out of this? You know, why can't I just change this? Why can't I just think differently and not be so upset about this? So in some way, at least the way I interpreted the spiritual messages at the time that I was there, that's kind of, I think, a little bit limited and stunted with the spiritual foundation that I had.
So, you know what, something that I want you to touch on more is, you said like the meaning of hard work. What do you feel like that consists of? Like, where does that, like, does it mean like physically, like working hard, picking things up and moving them, or like, you know, what is hard work to you? Like, where does that?
I love the question, and I think it meant a lot of different things to me, but I'm laughing because the first thing that happened to me once that request to God started coming up was I moved on to an unfinished, in process of renovation, 33-foot sailboat.
Oh, wow.
With the man I was not meant to be with, and lived on this boat, moved on to this boat, left Baltimore 2 days before Christmas, when most people leave in October.
Yeah.
We left December. We barely missed a snowstorm, and that was a very challenging. Can you imagine?
Yeah, let me just try.
It's so hard to like fully explain what it's like to live on a sailboat. And I had no problems doing it. I was like, yeah, this is great. When I was a little kid, my mom's parents lived on a sailboat.
Oh, cool.
And so whenever we went to visit Grandma and Grandpa, we went to visit them on their boat, wherever that was.
Oh, that's fun.
Florida, Maine, whatever. So I was not foreign to this idea at all. And I'm like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
But we are on this unfinished boat.
Any holes in it?
No holes, but let me tell you, because my ex at that time, he was so stubborn, so hard-headed, everything had to be his way. And so we left December 22nd, I think, Baltimore. Anyways, we made it partway down the Chesapeake, docked at a closed restaurant, closed for the season. And then we were checking the weather before we leave the next day.
Got you.
And it's like, hey, might be like a little choppy. Didn't sound like anything crazy to us. He did not have as much experience as I thought he had. I trusted him fully. You have what's called foul weather gear, which is like your yellow suit, right? Your little hat, to keep you dry, right? If it's raining or something. And we untie our bow. We're like, all right, we're gonna go further down the Chesapeake. It was so choppy. The waves didn't sound like they were going to be tall, but what's happening is it's kind of shallow, so they're hitting off the bottom floor more quickly. Okay. And so we're out there, water's coming over the bow. And it's pouring rain. I have never been so cold in my life.
And probably scared.
I wasn't too scared, but I was scared. There was another time where I was more scared, where we had to call the Coast Guard. Or Coast Guard actually called us. Help. I know. That's a whole other story. But so we're like, all right, we have to turn around. Like, we can't make any headway. We are soaking wet. We're miserable. We didn't have a shower. Our toilet hardly worked. He had to boil water on the stovetop, go outside the boat, pour it in through like the little hole in the ceiling. I don't remember why that was there, into like what the shower stall was, to like try to warm up.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so when we're talking about the meaning of hard work, like just that relationship was hard work, and it prepared me for the one that I'm in now. But I think hard work was like, there was definitely a physical aspect. There was like, I want to know what it means to like make a house work, right? And we were like, literally had to restore this boat to have a home that floats on water.
Building things.
Yeah, and to be able to travel on it. And so like building things, that was something tied into hard work. I'd always worked hard in relationships. Okay. But I think there was a new level of work I wanted to do in relationships. My very first relationship taught me how important honesty is, how important it is to be yourself, like authentic, even if it means risking the relationship. Like, you have to be you. Okay. If because if the relationship, for me, I was like, if the relationship's working, I want to know that it's honestly working.
Yeah.
That I didn't hide
In
any
your
part of
heart.
myself,
Yeah.
you know, that this person really loves me for me and accepts me for me. And if it's not working, then I know it's honestly not working. And I don't have to have any regrets that I didn't share, that I wasn't myself, you know, maybe it could have worked if I, you know. So honesty, I learned in my first relationship. So into that relationship with the sailboat guy, was able to practice that. That's how I came to Baltimore. Thank you, sailboat guy.
Right,
It brought me to all my Baltimore
Oh
friends.
yeah, thank you, sailboat guy.
So, yeah. And then the things that I learned in that relationship and getting to practice honesty, but you know, him and I were just so not compatible, set me up for the next relationship, which is now my marriage. And, you know, I believe him and I are soulmates. There's no question.
Oh, that's beautiful.
There was stuff that I knew I needed to learn, even though I didn't know what it was. There was something in my heart that said, God,
A desire.
I just want to know, you know, what it means to have to work hard for certain things when as a kid, most things that I needed were provided to me, you know?
Right. You know, there's a term, gosh, I don't know the exact name of the term, but I will do some research after this to figure this out 100%. But basically what it means is at the end of the day, when you rest your head on the pillow, like, do you wholeheartedly know that that day was spent rigorously doing what you know you're supposed to be doing and hard work itself, so that when you do hit the pillow, like, you feel tired because you put in a full day, you know? And like, just think there's some people who kind of lackadaisically go through their lives in the day, and, you know, once they put their head on the pillow, you know, that's kind of when their mind starts racing, you know. But like, if you know that you put in that work during the day, you can then get a good rest, you know, and be able to know that for the next day you're going to, you know, give it 1,000%, you know. And gosh, I think that's really important, an important message for everybody. And, you know, you're talking about your relationships and things like that. And gosh, isn't it crazy how, like, we're always like trying to balance like ourself with everything else that's around us, you know? Balance. How do you feel like balance is an important part in your life?
That's a good one. And that's
And
definitely...
how long has it taken you to figure out?
Oh, I'm still figuring it out.
Right,
like
good. That was a test.
Did I pass? I think I passed.
You did.
And I might still be for the rest of my life, but I feel like I'm definitely in a better place with it. Again, on that, like, wanting to know the hard work, like, what does it take? You know, some of the things I've had to learn over the years, and more recent years, probably definitely in this relationship, understanding balance. Things that I know help me stay balanced. I need time to myself. I love people, and I love spending time with people, and I need time with people, but I also need time with myself. I need quality time with my friends. I need laughter. I need quality time with my husband. And I need to nourish myself physically and spiritually and emotionally.
What is that nourishment?
Yeah,
With
so
a little side route.
Nourishment. So physical nourishment. I have a fast metabolism, and I feel like I have to eat all the freaking time.
Okay.
So that's like one, and that can be hard. Like, my body is happiest when I have like 5 real meals a day.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
5 meals.
Yes.
You're just
It's a lot
out
of
here.
work.
You're just out here eating, dude.
I should be. And so physical nourishment, emotional nourishment, that definitely comes through friendships and connections and conversations like these, for sure. Got a great therapist. Shout out Amy. She's the
Shout out
best.
Amy.
And spiritual nourishment would definitely be, you know, finding spiritual community, which I've only recently found, but finding spiritual community that you really connect with and resonate with, so that you can grow spiritually and you can deepen. And if you don't find a community and you don't need a community, that's totally cool. But like, committing at least to a practice and time to deepen your relationship with God in whatever way that makes sense to you.
Committing, man, that's such a wild word.
I know.
You know, just like what does commitment mean to you?
Oh gosh. What is commitment?
I'm hitting you with that deep talk.
I know, that big talk.
That big talk, baby.
I love it. What does commitment mean to me? Commitment means the constant choice, right? It's usually never just a one-time choice, you know, but it's a constant, maybe even daily, maybe even hourly, commitment or choice. It's a conscious choice to do something, you know, or be something.
Ooh, or be something.
Yeah.
Right? Man, commitment. Let's see here.
What does that mean to you?
Gosh. Commitment, I think, means being present with yourself to the fullest of your ability. You know, and in order to think about like a tree, you know, like think like that tree has a commitment in that one spot.
It's rooted.
It's well rooted, you know, and I think before you can even commit to anything else around you, you have to commit to yourself. You know, and think about, I love talking about this because think about a tree, okay? And you have, you know, the stalk or the trunk itself. And then you have, you know, the offshoots, the very top of the tree that's, you know, that waves the most, you know, that's the flimsiest.
That new growth.
Right, that's where all the new growth occurs. And then you have your little you know, your little tributaries there, and the leaves themselves, you know, the color of the leaves and the shape of the leaves all create that character, you know. And gosh, think about how like once a year a tree dies. You know? And it has to think of all the things that it has to shed. You know? And think of the fact that the things that shed then like become the earth too. You know? And but think about like trees are naked in the most frigid weather too. Like that's the time.
Yeah, totally exposed.
Totally exposed. And think of the wind. And think of wind, how detrimental wind can be to a tree.
Especially a new tree or the new growth on the tree, yeah.
Right, yeah. I think, or wind, yeah, it makes you really think about, you know, the all these outside forces that are swaying you, you know? But I think the most important part of this teaching here is the hardest working part of the tree, the roots.
You can't even see them.
You can't even see them.
That is a really good analogy. I like that.
You know, like the hardest, hard work, the hardest working part of the tree, dude, that ego, gone. You know, and think about all the ways that those roots have to, you know, one's got to go over here so that way this corner doesn't go too far, you know, and then the ones, you know, you got these ones building off of this one. And yeah, you know, the fact that like the hardest working part of the tree is not even seen, you know. So I think that can be an analogy to our lives.
Yeah.
You know, all those things that we build inside, and sometimes those trials and tribulations that we carry, and trauma that we carry in our body, not just like mentally, but like physically too, that are
Absolutely.
kind of connected to you in
Absolutely.
places. You know, I'm sure you maybe talk about that with your therapist, possibly about trauma and how it actually is stored.
Stored in the body, or can totally cause physical illness. Absolutely.
And think of this too, like along with the roots, our roots are like our heart. Think your heart is with you your whole life, but you can't even see it.
Nope.
All
You just
these
trust that it's there.
You trust that it's there. You know the anatomy,
Yeah.
right? But you never really get to see it, you know? And then like all of the things that are inside your body, you know, you really have to be in touch with and in tune with, you know? And there's going to be those gusts of wind that are going to push you in certain directions. And maybe they're even going to help you, you know, get to that place faster or stronger in a way,
Build
you
you.
know? Yeah.
And I think that is such a perfect example of like why that balance is important and how to obtain the balance. I think when I first started really looking into what does it mean for me to have balance in my life, it starts with listening to your body. Listening to your body, which is not something we're taught how to do in school.
So that's a great point.
You know, like just
That should be a class.
It should be. How do our bodies work? And
Yeah.
how can we use them in an efficient and healthy manner, but also how to listen to them? You know, I find that, so an example, I told you I have to eat a lot. Like I didn't discover that until I started listening to my body.
Right.
And recognizing like I'm struggling with symptoms of low blood sugar a lot, right? Like feeling shaky, which can show, low blood sugar can show up as anxiety, right? Like why do I feel anxious all the time?
I'm
Oh,
glad
because
you
you need
made
to
that
eat.
point.
You know, but if nobody's taught you to listen to your body and you don't even know what that sensation means,
You don't know
just
how to
know that
read
it's
it.
here. You don't know how to read it. You go to your doctor, they're like, oh, you have anxiety, here's a pill. When really you just need to eat more. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not saying that's everybody's situation by any means, but like for me personally, listening to your body, you know,
Yeah.
and understanding and appreciating the connection between your mind, your heart, your spirit, and your body, and how your body is often the first thing to tell you something's out of balance emotionally or spiritually or just physically.
Right. And you went back to like the trifecta there, you know, and gosh, yeah, right. Like listening to what is your body telling you right now?
My body's telling me I'm excited.
Ah,
Yeah.
love that.
I have like a little bit of a flutter, but it's an
Right.
excitement.
Man, gosh, you know, I want to just talk about, there was a point I wanted to make with like the fragility of life itself and wind. We were talking about that. Think about a butterfly. You were just talking about kind of like butterflies in
Yeah,
your stomach,
yeah.
you know? Think about like a butterfly, like one strong gust of wind could kill
Could,
a
yeah.
butterfly, you know? And think about, yeah, how fragile that idea is and that thought, you know? And then comparing it to the tree and how, you know, resistant we are to all of the outside influences and inside influences, you know?
Yeah.
Think about, you're talking about listening to your body, you know, as I do HVAC during the day, so I'm dealing with heaters and air conditioners, I'm dealing with machines. And one thing that has really helped me keep track of my body itself is understanding these machines that are around me. And like, how do these machines work? And how do they work most efficiently? And that's something that we focus on in the trade is, you know, there's two things you really want to focus on. First, safety, obviously. And then the second thing is efficiency. And it has everything to do with what's coming in, what's going into that machine in order to make it as productive as possible. And with like combustion, the most important things having to do with like lighter fluid all ties in.
Yeah, yeah.
three things. Do you know? I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay. Test my HVAC knowledge.
With the trifecta here, do you know what the three things that it takes to create combustion? No. Guess.
Do you need a spark?
A spark?
Hey, you need pressure?
Close. Pressure's created by what's going into it. What are the things? Air.
Okay.
Number two.
Okay. Air, a spark, and a fuel.
Bang.
Hey, look at me.
Look at you. Right off the bat. See, it's actually a lot more simple too than like we kind of overthink things sometimes, And the fuel itself, I think, to kind of touch on, a lighter fluid, the fuel itself is so important to what is created on the back end.
I love that.
And gosh,
what's your input that's going to affect the output?
Exactly.
What's the substance of the input?
Man, it's beautiful, right? Because there's so many different fuels out here.
Oh my gosh. And the world's telling us what fuels we need to be using.
Right? And maybe sometimes they're telling us fuels that we should be using that maybe actually aren't
actually healthy for us.
Maybe they're healthy for one person.
Sure. Not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Exactly. So it's really important to think about the things that are feeding your soul.
Yeah.
And your body itself, and back to listening to your body. Gosh, it's going to be disclaimer, it's going to be a lifelong process to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, listening is going to be a lifelong process of, what's good for me, what's right for me, what's bad for me. There's those experiences that you realize, and you stumble. I think it's really important that you take a step back and take a mental note and be like, okay, you know what? That wasn't the best thing for me. I think maybe a lot of people don't reflect enough on those, the things that make you fall. You kind of just get up in like the world today, with such a fast-paced lifestyle. We're told to, brush your knees off and keep going. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do that, but then make sure you make a point to kind of reflect on what it was that kind of tripped you up in the first place. Because we're gonna, we're like talking about the tree, and like every year that it dies, right? Let's go back to that, because I think that's a really important point. Think about the ways that we have to shed are the flowers or the leaves, and also like knowing that it's okay to let go of those things.
I don't think the tree dies, but parts of the tree die.
Definitely.
Right? So the tree itself is still alive,
yeah,
but it goes dormant or is hibernating, and it does let parts of itself die, right? It lets those leaves die.
And then think too with that, like there's that time where it needs hibernation. There's that time where it needs in order to then be able to. So I think it's important that we all take some time to yourself and think about that the year. And what are the things, what are the good things for you? What are the bad things for you? What are the things that made you happy? What are the things that made you grow? What are the things that pushed you forward? What are the things that pulled you back? It's really important.
Here's another great way to have balance. So what you're kind of speaking about, what it's making me think about is seasonally living.
Yeah.
Here in Baltimore, we get all the seasons, which is awesome. Sometimes some of those seasons last a little longer than some of us want to, but we get all those seasons, which is a blessing. And so when you're talking about thinking about a year and what went well, what didn't go well, like that just made me think of New Year's, right? Which is winter, which is the middle of winter. People are assessing their year and assessing the year behind and the one ahead. And not everybody even does that, but it's like people take that once a year opportunity to like have that reflection, right? That can help you create more balance in your life. But something that has helped me have more balance is that kind of seasonal living. Like winter, thinking about the seasons as opportunities to live optimally, right? In winter, the most efficient or optimal way you can be living is in a state of hibernation. In whatever way you can afford to do that.
Good point.
But be intentional and try to make time to reflect. The winter is the time for hibernation. It's the time for reflecting. It's the time for planting seeds inside. It's the time for getting in touch with your intuition. And then spring is where we start planning and we start like clearing out, right? Spring cleaning. People are clearing stuff out, you know? And then summer's the height. Summer is the time for energy, lots of energy. You know, that's when we're at our music festivals. That's when the days are longer and we're staying up all night. Right. And then fall is when you start taking things down a notch. You know, you know that it's going to be a slower season coming up. And so you prepare for that. Yeah,
for sure. And let's see here. You know, I want to pivot a little bit to a memory that we spoke about on the phone about Leroy's concerts, because this was it really stuck out to me. Tell me a little bit about Leroy's concerts and what they meant to you, and like where that energy took you, in the future.
Yeah, so that definitely ties in music and spirituality for sure. So those were the youth retreats that I had in high school. They were like, these particular ones were twice a year at this YMCA camp out on the Eastern Shore, one in the spring, one in the fall. And there was a guy who we would always have a musician, and almost always we had Leroy come. We were always like pretty disappointed when Leroy couldn't come, but we love Leroy.
Shout out to Leroy.
Yes, he was this Rastafarian dude, and his music was like often pretty like experimental. Okay, but he would get all the kids up and dancing and singing and screaming. Like he wanted us to have like a moment of catharsis, and celebration. So he would get us up and he would tell us to scream as loud as we could. So we had like 100 teenagers just screaming. I mean, how cathartic is that? How often do we scream?
Oh, right?
Intentionally, right? That we're like, take a moment. I just need to let out this energy. Yeah. So you had 100 teenagers just screaming.
Oh my gosh,
and he walks us through. He always take us on this journey. And then the music and his lyrics were always like some spiritual journey. And some of my favorite songs, there's one called Sweet Divine Groove, and it's just about God. And it's like, I'm lost in your love. I'm lost in the flow, but baby, that's how I grow. Just about God's sweet divine groove that is life. And he's got another beautiful song about what it's like to be held by God, and tells a story of a little girl being held by her dad and taking her through her life of her being a mother and then being an old lady and being held by God. That's a song that makes me cry. Aww. But Leroy was just so amazing. Crazy enough, my brother who lives in Texas, I don't know if I told you this part of the story. It's kind of like actually not even important, but my brother lives in Leroy's house. Leroy passed away from cancer. Oh, and this was a few years ago. My brother lives in Texas, and he lives in his house, and he didn't even know it when he went to go look at the house.
Leroy's energy?
Oh my gosh, no question. My brother was greeted by 3 albino peacocks when he first went to the house to see it at a showing.
That would be like a sign for me.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's talking.
I am telling my brother, I'm like, Chris, you got to get back into your spirituality. Like, you don't take this moment for granted. Don't take his home for granted. Like, it can be an amazing space for you if you seize that opportunity.
Right. Well, shouts out to Leroy. Gosh, thank you for people like that who are able to share their energy with the world, and kind of, speaking about musicians, there was a musician that you mentioned to me that I think there's a few points we want to tie in with this.
Yeah.
What's the name of that musician and what's the name of the song?
Okay. Gosh, there's so many things we didn't get to talk about. One of the things that was important and we wanted to discuss was like, so part of the inspiration to start Lighter Fluid Designs was the culmination of two projects that happened right when I was graduating. One was my wedding dress that I made, and it turned out amazing. And then the other was this jacket that I made for my favorite musical artist named Jessie Reyez.
Okay.
And her music has been so transformational for me and cathartic for me, especially her earlier stuff. And I designed this jacket for her. I got to give it to her at a sold-out concert.
Oh, you did?
Like, I was so high after that. Like, I was like, this is the best night of my life. Baby. Yes. And so I got to give her that jacket. So those are two projects that made me like, I was graduating with a psychology degree, thought I was going to go to medical school. I'm like, this is what makes me happy, is making stuff, making beautiful things. And so Jessie Reyez, another thing we wanted to talk about was, so a lot of her earlier music it's very emotional. It definitely gives voice to the harder, darker, sometimes toxic side of relationships.
Yeah.
Or relationships that can be toxic. Not that all relationships have toxicity in them, but she gives voice to that. So, and she really, even though I was already in this wonderful relationship with the man I'm now married to, I got to walk back through some pain that I never acknowledged. And of some of those toxic relationships that I even experienced. And so that song I was telling you about before, she has this really challenging song called Gatekeeper. And it walks back through an experience she had as a young musician who got invited to go to a party where there was a producer. And she wanted to kind of like let him know that, she makes music without trying to,
push it.
Yeah. And, the moral of the story was that he was like, if this is what you want, if this is the dream you want to have, like there are expectations of you sexually.
Unhealthy.
And the song is her story about dealing with that. And how that's becoming so much more coming to light, right, of the abuses of power, especially in the music industry, movie industry, and
we're seeing that
just probably most industries, but that one's been highlighted so much. And so she really helped me release a lot of emotion that I needed to release so that I could move through trauma I didn't even realize I had. And again, that also goes back to like that hard work. Like, what is the hard work that I need to put in to become who you made me to be, the best version of myself, the authentic version of myself that isn't being filtered through all of this junk, what nonsense. Boys or men told me who I needed to be, like, who am I outside of the pressures of the world?
Oh, I like that. That's a great thought, right? Who are we outside of all those pressures?
Yeah, she has another song.
It's beautiful.
Called No One in the Room, I think it's called. And the song is Who Am I When No One's in the Room?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love that concept.
You will love her. You got to listen to her.
I promise
She's so
you
good.
Later tonight, I am going to be doing a deep dive into that 100%. Let's do a little segment here. I have somebody on the phone here.
Is that your phone?
Bing, 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 bing. Yes, so who is this calling me at this hour? Oh, this is the OG Pinki. Okay, this is young Pinki.
Oh.
Yeah. So, you know what? Ironically, I'm here with someone who actually I think might want to either give you some advice, some inspiration, kind of tell you maybe some things to do, not to do. You know what? I'm not gonna build this. I'm gonna let her. Yeah, here she is. Here she is.
This is young Pinki. Little Pinki.
Little-
What up, girl?
little Pinky.
Little Pink.
Hi.
Little Pinkster. Oh, what's up, girl? Dang. What would I love for you to know and understand?
No heart.
Well, you have a lot of gifts and talents that you can do a lot of good in the world with. And but follow your heart, follow your dreams. And you'll be so stoked to know that you're going to be starting a clothing and lifestyle brand someday. Believe it or not. I know.
Facts.
Crazy.
Dope.
And you're also going to find the most incredible man. He's going to be the man of your dreams. He's not going to be what you were expecting, but he's going to be absolutely perfect for you. And so just hold on and try not to do too many things that you're going to regret. I know you don't have many of those, but yeah, you're awesome. You are special. And what I definitely want you to know is that I know you feel excluded sometimes because you crave depth in your relationships and you don't feel like you always get that from all of your friends. But that's not because something's wrong with you, that they don't want to go deep with you. Not everybody's capable of going deep, and not everybody wants to go deep. But it's something that's beautiful about you, and so don't dim your light. And head for the deep end. And whoever's meant to be in that deep end with you will be in that deep end with you. You can leave all little kids in the shallow kiddie pool.
Love it.
Love you, girl.
Love you, Pink. You end up being sweet AF, okay? You know what? And speaking of, you mentioned that you were going to meet the man of your dreams. Yeah. I have a little message from someone here. So
What?
yeah, I'm gonna let you hear it
On the highlight?
on the highlight. Yep. Here
Is this
we
my
go.
man?
This is your man's.
Aw.
Okay, let's turn this bad boy up. Okay, you ready?
I'm
I know
ready.
it's here. It's here. Okay.
Hi, sweetheart. It's Bobby. I just want to tell you how proud of you I am. I'm so excited for you to be able to share your talent and unique creations with the world. It's been an amazing journey watching you grow and develop your business and to see the authentic spiritual connection you make with your customers through your brand and your unique designs. You inspire me every day to be the best version of myself and a husband worthy of your love. I'm your biggest fan and beyond blessed to walk with you and stand by your side through this journey of life. I love you, Catherine, with all my heart. You always have and always will light my fire.
Oh,
So good.
thank you for that. I love him so much. I love you.
Love you too. Man, dude, I don't know if you saw this, but tear just fell from my
Oh.
freaking eye, dude.
You're going to have that too someday.
Oh, you're right.
You're
You're
gonna have
right.
that too.
You're right. It's here. She's out there somewhere.
She's out there.
Oh man. Okay, we're coming to an end here, but let's switch emotions a little bit, okay? All right, let's switch it up a little bit.
Love you,
okay?
babe.
I'm gonna have some rapid fire questions here.
Oh, rapid
All
fire.
right?
All right.
Okay, and these are try and answer these as quick as possible. Okay. Off the dome.
Off the
All right,
dome.
off the dome. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. Okay. Describe what you think your life will look like when you're 85.
Laughing with my girlfriends by the pool.
Oh, there you go, girl.
Golden Girl style.
There you go. If you had the power to make someone not famous anymore, who would it be?
Shoot. Not famous anymore. I don't even know.
Come on, you got somebody that's out there that
somebody that I
you're
don't
like,
really like.
maybe not the best influence or
I don't know.
no.
Sorry,
Okay,
pass.
pass. If you could have any superpower,
Oh gosh. Oh man. Be unaffected by the opinions of others.
There you go. Guess what? It's possible.
It is possible.
All right.
I'm on my way.
Do aliens exist?
Quite probably.
And what do they look like?
Oh, I bet you they don't all look the same.
Okay. Love that answer. Would you rather burp glitter or fart fireworks?
Burp glitter.
You burp? Yeah, that's Pinky. Straight Pinky style. All right. What's the first thing you notice when you meet a new person?
The first thing I know, probably what they're wearing.
Yeah, of course. That's just the design in
Yeah.
you. Do you like...
No judgment, though.
Not at all. Not at all. Do you like the music your parents listened to?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I didn't love all of it growing up, but...
What would be either like a song or a band that...
This is so obscure. My dad loved a musician called Jerry Jeff Walker. It's like country, and I didn't like it
Sounds
when
like
I was a kid. Yeah.
Jerry
But
Jeff Walker?
now it just makes me think of my dad. So.
Oh, nice. Love it. What other language do you wish you could speak
Ooh.
fluently?
Maybe Spanish. I feel like that would really help you in a lot of places.
Okay. Name a book you've read more than once.
Oh, I'm not a big reader. I like to listen to books, but something
Okay.
more than once. Pass. Probably
Pass.
none.
Pass. All right. What?
Actually, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Definitely read that more than once.
Oh, such a good one. All right. What qualities do you admire most in your friends?
Their honesty.
Best policy.
Yeah.
What's the best gift you've ever received?
My husband.
Oh, shout to Bobby. All right. What would happen to the world if the internet went away?
I think we'd spend a lot more time outside.
Yeah. Love that. So important. Has a movie ever made you cry?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which one? Have you cried the most to?
I cry at a lot of movies, maybe most movies.
Jurassic Park?
I don't know. Maybe not that one. Pixar movies, always cry. The first movie my mom ever took me to in a movie theater was Black Beauty, about a horse.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had to take me out of the movie theater because I was just hysterical. I think they were abusing the horse or something. I mean, what kid wouldn't cry about that?
Right, right. All right. What's the best thing about being your age?
About being 34? Ooh, what's the best thing about being 34? Hanging out at a podcast on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Right? Wearing your own brand?
Yeah, I'm wearing my own brand.
Dude, too good.
I did the tattoo convention last weekend,
Did you?
I just finished setting up my booth. And the song that came on was my favorite band in 7th grade, Good Charlotte. Turned me into a little punk rocker.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
came on the loudspeaker, and I was like, 13-year-old me, 12-year-old me would be so freaking proud of me right now.
Oh my gosh, dude. I
Like,
love
here
that.
I am selling all
a
the stuff that
tattoo
I've made
convention.
at a
Badass.
tattoo convention. Like,
Badass.
that is the pinnacle of coolness for a
Badass.
12-year-old me.
Oh, I'm sure you killed the event itself. Let's wrap up a little bit here. What are some of the things that people can look forward to in the future of Lighter Fluid and for you as an individual? Yeah, what do you see in the near future with the brand and yourself?
Yeah, well, for Lighter Fluid, I am really building my whole brand around these limited edition tracksuits.
Yeah.
So this is edition number 1, and edition number 2 is in the works.
Okay.
So that'll be coming out in a month or two. And
Can
yeah,
they find that on your website?
yes, lighterfluiddesigns.com.
Okay, and Lighter Fluid, LIGHTERFLUID.
Yep.
Okay.
That's me. And so, yeah, it's a kind of spiritually based streetwear brand. So you can expect a lot of unique things, a lot of eclectic things. You can expect influences from all over the world. Something I've always been passionate about is other cultures. And I've always wanted to travel the world. I considered anthropology as a career or as a degree, and because I love learning about other cultures. So I love to incorporate textiles and elements in my jewelry from all over the world, and I love educating my customers on like where they come from, who made them, how they were made, what's the story, the history, and all that kind of stuff. So eclectic stuff, worldly stuff, spiritual stuff. That's what you can expect out of lighter fluid.
Nice. Oh, well, this was an amazing experience. I want to thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Is there any last minute inspiration that you want to give the world?
I just want to encourage people to get to know themselves from a non-judgmental place, a non-critical place. Just try to get to know yourself and try to become a version of yourself that you're proud of, that you like. And it's okay to get help to do that. It's okay to get help from friends, from therapy, from professionals, from God, you know. And I definitely encourage people to contemplate God in whatever way that makes sense for you. You know, you don't have to do what other people do. You don't have to do what your parents do. You can do it on your own. You don't even have to tell anybody about it. But like, that's just such a foundational part of life for me. And it's brought so much value into my life because for me, it's an undeniable truth. And yeah, I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be the best versions of themselves, you know, to try to make this world a better place. It all starts at home, you know, it all starts inside. So I don't know, I guess that's what I got.
Love that. That was perfect. Well, that concludes our episode of Respecting Perspectives Pinki edition. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And until we see you guys next time.
Hey.
Peace out.